Hello, my name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, and this is Your Money, Your Life. History is filled with accounts of experts who do not believe that the ideas, plans, and projects of others could be attained. In spite of this, those projects proved successful because project managers kept their eye on the prize. Our topic today is just such a phenomenon that seems to be developing into a key community service. I'm talking about adult day services and its influence on aging in place, as well as providing caregivers with a much-needed break from their demanding responsibilities. My guest is Amanda Sillars, the owner and CEO of Total ADHC Solutions, a company dedicated to adult daycare services. To say that Amanda is passionate about adult day services doesn't even scratch the surface of her commitment to this industry. In almost 20 years, she has become a nationally recognized speaker, author, and expert in adult day services. Her company has helped over 300 adult day centers in the United States to open and run more efficiently by providing consulting services, manuals, and training programs. Amanda holds a master's degree in social work from San Jose State University with an emphasis on geriatrics. She's a member of the California Association of Adult Day Services and serves on the board of the National Association of Adult Day Services. Amanda, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
You've spent your career with regards to adult day services. There are various different areas where you could be helping elders. Why did you choose adult day services?
I'm so glad you asked that. So I'll give you the short story long.
Okay.
In grad school, I have a master's in social work. In grad school, I chose, we were all in an auditorium, because back then we stood in an auditorium and we chose which emphasis we were going to go into. And I had originally planned always on going into work with family and children. And in the middle of the auditorium, there were 4 corners where we could choose our emphasis. And I looked across and I saw that about 80% of our class was going into work with family and children. And there's only about 5% that were going into work with geriatrics. And I thought, wow. Even social workers aren't choosing to work with geriatrics, and I just thought that was, I was like, okay, I like older people. They're going to need a lot of support. This was almost 20 years ago, just about 20 years ago. We knew what was going to happen with the population, and here is only such a few percentage of people going into work with that. So I chose the geriatrics, really for that reason, and what a great choice to have made. My first job with geriatrics out of grad school was working in a nursing home. And I worked there for a couple years, learned an awful lot from it, and was, I would say, pretty affected by that work. I was also a case manager and a discharge planner, which was a nice part of it. Unfortunately, I didn't know about adult day back when I was a discharge planner, and I wasn't able to discharge people to the nursing home. And what I saw is a lot of this revolving door. I saw I'd discharge someone from the nursing home with home health back home. They would receive the home health and they might come back maybe 6 months later. They would go home, they'd get their home health for a very short period of time, and then they'd be on their own. And that was it. And then someone else would come in and they'd come back into the nursing home, I found, after maybe something else horrible had happened. There was just this revolving door. So when I found adult daycare, which was in 1997, a little tiny ad in the newspaper when we used to look in the newspaper for ads for a geriatric medical social worker. And I went in and I looked at the regulations and I fell in love. And I said, this is where I will be spending the rest of my career. It was a program that prevented institutionalization. And I thought, this is the next best thing to sliced bread. How? And I'm thinking, and 20 years later, I am stunned to no end that this industry has not caught on better, that people in general don't have a good idea of what all the services that are provided, that idea of preventing institutionalization. And the money saved.
Now you say 1997 is when you began focusing. Is that when you started your company?
Yes, it was 97, because it was early 97. I started, they were looking for a master's level social work. So I started in adult day, in an adult day healthcare center as the social worker in the center. Learned the business, learned the regs. This was early on in the adult day growth in Los Angeles specifically, and in California. So there wasn't a lot of information for people who wanted to open or people who wanted to run centers. So what I found is that I had that, because of the background and because of my love for the work, and even not love for documentation, I would say, but commitment to good documentation as a reflection of good services that are provided. I wrote some manuals, I helped people to open some centers, and that's kind of how the business got started. So I was in it, learned it, the nurse and myself went through a couple of surveys and corrected some of the things that were found.
Tell us a little bit about your company, Total ADHC. What does it do?
So my company provides, I've been around since '97, as you mentioned, and we provide training programs, manuals, books, consulting services for adult day health and adult day care, also consulting services.
What types of consulting services?
So we help centers to run more efficiently. We help centers to open. Someone may need help with their regulations, writing their policies and procedures, developing their forms. Maybe if they get a letter from the state after a state survey and they need someone to help write the corrections for that letter and to get their center back on track, we can do that.
What's involved in opening up an adult day service business? Is that something that people can do? Can they open up their own business?
Absolutely.
How do you go about doing that?
Okay. And it is a great business, by the way. It is a win-win-win-win-win across the board.
Tell us about it.
So the first thing you'd want to do is take a look at you could call me. You could call my company. And generally what I like to do is I'll either look up the regs, we'll take a look at the regs, I can do some consulting and kind of tell them what they need to do, or I'll send them off to their state association. Almost every state has an association. So California has a California Adult Day Association. And then to get some idea to start with. I like people to, my goal in consulting and helping people start a center is always that they learn to do it themselves. And that I support that learning, not that I do the whole thing for them. I want to help them learn to open their centers.
So a person who's interested in opening a business like this, do they need a special type of background, or can anybody do this?
They don't. Although having a health background or a background in geriatrics is the best, but you don't have to. The states will have regulations. Generally, they're online for what's required to open a center and how to run the center. And then they will need a policy and procedure manual, and they'll need forms. They'll need an employee manual. They'll need to have an understanding of how to run their center on a daily basis.
Okay, so if someone's interested in opening one of these centers, what's the source of income? How do they get paid for delivering these services?
So that's a good question, and the other side of the question as well is how do people pay for adult day services?
Good point.
As well.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest payer sources is Medicaid, and that is mostly with the healthcare model. Some states they have Medicaid payment for the social model as well, but in general it's the healthcare model. So Medicaid pays for it, or the managed care companies. If someone has Medicaid but they're under managed care, the managed care companies may pay for it. Private pay is another option.
Does that mean out of your own pocket?
Out of pocket.
Okay.
Long-term care insurance covers adult day services, which is, a lot of people don't know that, but it's very good benefit of long-term care services. The regional centers for someone with, I'm not sure what it's called across the country, but I know for people with developmentally disabled, who are developmentally disabled, the regional centers may pay. Also, the Veterans Administration is a payer source.
Oh, okay. So there are sources of payment.
Yes.
Now, it would seem to me, based on what I know about Medicaid, though, most people who are middle class are going to be paying out of pocket.
Right, right. There's currently a bill written by Representative Sanchez that has been submitted, and it's HR 3334, and it's called the Medicare Adult Day Services Act. And what that is for, it's to modernize Medicare. It basically allows Medicare to pay for short-term services in adult day instead of say a home health, and it pays it at the bill asks for 98% of the payment rate, so it's less than a home health rate. And a participant who comes to the center and say the doctor orders physical therapy, the participant might choose to get physical therapy at the adult day healthcare center rather than having it at home, and receive all those services, and there would be no cost increase. It would actually be at 98% of the home health rate.
So it seems to me that this bill that you're talking about is actually going to allow Medicare to pay adult day service centers just as it's paying nursing homes for rehab right now.
Yes.
It's paying on a limited basis for the first 100 days, or 20 days, up to 100 days.
Yes.
Yeah, good place for us to start.
Yes.
With life expectancy rising, more and more people may require supervised care in a safe place outside the home. This is where adult day services plays an important role. Generally speaking, adult day provides daytime services to the elderly and younger people with disabilities. These centers provide an array of coordinated services ranging from meals to cognitive stimulation. Many embrace the principles of person-centered care and have a specific plan for each client to maximize the value of their experience while receiving care. But that's not all. These services offer several advantages. They extend a cost-effective alternative to skilled nursing care while providing the necessary support to age in place. At the same time, adult day services afford caregivers relief from the demanding responsibilities of caregiving while knowing their loved one is in good hands. And if that isn't enough, adult day services provide a reliable source of support, restore balance in times of crisis, and enhance overall quality of life for caregivers. Although each facility may differ in terms of features, some adult day service centers provide an interactive, safe, and secure environment for individuals living with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. And here's the great news. As a result, adult day services may allow these individuals to delay nursing home placement. As caregivers typically select the type of center a care recipient attends, it's important to educate yourself. There are two good places to start. One is nadsa.org. The other is Ms. Sillars' website, totaladhc.com. In so doing, not only will you have a better understanding of your options, but you'll be able to assist your loved one with the adjustment process. In closing, I'd like to thank my guest, Amanda Sillars. Amanda?
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite
really
welcome.
Appreciate it.
And as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, building your trust.